Single-player games are an all-time blast because they always offer a unique experience. That's why I have mentioned over 10 greatest games that are absolutely worth your money. So let's look at our first game in the video, Shadow of Mordor. Middle-earth is straight up one of the most satisfying open-world action games out there. If I am being honest, then most of us are crazy fans of Lord of Rings, so a game like Middle-earth that is practically similar to Lords of Rings is a feast to play. It's mostly about revenge. Briefly, as a player, you get absolutely wrecked at the start of the game, only to come back as an undead revenge machine. From there, it's all about slicing, stabbing, and mind-controlling your way through hordes of enemies in the darkest corners of Mordor. Speaking of slicing or stabbing, the combat is the charm of the game. It's pure Arkham style, but with way more brutality. Every swing, counter, and execution feels meaty and rewarding. Then there's the Nemesis system, which is the real MVP here. If I have to explain it in an easier way, then it basically means that enemies remembers you from your last battle. Some of them will call you coward if you ran away in the previous fight, while some will get scared because of the havoc you caused the last time you were there. Even the scars or burn marks are visible on their body. In my opinion, this is a pretty unique feature, and not many games have showed it just like Shadow of Mordor did. That's why this Nemesis system is the main feature of the game, and something that makes Mordor a standout title. Bayonetta 3. Bayonetta 3 is basically Platinum Games going full throttle with the chaos, cranking everything up to 11 and then breaking the dial off. If you've played the first two games, you already know what to expect. Flashy, over-the-top action, absurd set pieces, and Bayonetta herself oozing confidence with every move. But this one is on a whole different level. First off, the combat is ridiculously fun. They added this new Demon Slave mechanic, which lets you summon massive demons mid-fight and control them directly. It sounds overpowered, but Platinum balances it in a way that keeps the combat fluid and strategic instead of turning it into a mindless monster brawl. You still have your witch time dodges, stylish combos, and weapons that feel completely unique. If we talk about the story, then it's a multiverse-fueled roller coaster of absolute insanity. Just when you think you've seen it all, the game throws another ridiculous set piece at you. Some parts are genuinely emotional, others are just so ridiculous that you have to sit back and soak in the madness. Visually, the game looks good but not amazing. The Switch definitely struggles with some of the set pieces, and you can tell Platinum had to make compromises, but honestly, the sheer amount of fun happening on screen makes up for it. Overall, if you love stylish action games, Bayonetta 3 is a must. It doesn't hold back, it doesn't take itself too seriously, and it gives you some of the most insane moments you'll ever see in a video game. It's not perfect, but it's a damn good time. Final Fantasy XVI. This game is a straight-up roller coaster. It ditches the classic turn-based combat for full-on real-time action, and it feels incredible. If you've ever wanted Devil May Cry style combat mixed with that classic Final Fantasy magic, this is the game for you. The main protagonist has some of the most satisfying combat mechanics in the series. Switching between different abilities mid-fight is just chef's kiss. Speaking of combat, the enemies are quite big, like literal giants. The sheer scale of these kaiju-style battles makes every fight feel like a cinematic event. It's like watching Godzilla, but you're in the fight, throwing massive fireballs and clashing with gods. The game goes hard on spectacle and it nails it. The game is a huge departure from the old school Final Fantasy formula. It's less of a party-based RPG and more of an action-heavy, story-driven epic. Moving on, if we talk about the storyline, then it's quite dark, like Game of Thrones level dark narrative. There's war, politics, and a ton of heartbreaking moments. If you're expecting a light-hearted, classic Final Fantasy adventure, this one's a different beast. But if you love deep lore and a well-written protagonist, you're in for a treat. Bottom line is that if you love cinematic action, epic boss fights, then Final Fantasy XVI is an absolute must-play. It has a lot of cool content in it, which is quite different from generic Final Fantasy stuff. In fact, the main protagonist is quite relatable. This dude has some of the best character arcs ever. We follow his storyline from his teenage years to when he becomes a full-fledged adult. This syncs us with him, making the overall story more personal. Honestly, the main reason to play the 16th part is because of how different and interesting it is. classic Final Fantasy formula is modified with cinematic scale battles, decent protagonist, and the DMC level combat mixed with Dragon Ball type boss fights. Stellar Blade. This is one of those games that completely caught me off guard. I went in expecting just another flashy action game, but it turned out to be so much more. First off, the combat is the charm of the game, and it's absolutely sick. It's like a mix of Sekiro-style parries with Nier Automata fluidity, but with way more weight behind the hits. Every attack feels deliberate, every dodge matters, and it feels awesome when you nail those perfect counters. In fact, the game got a lot of recognition only because of the combat, the main character, and how it looks. Just imagine Bayonetta on PS5 with modern enhancements or features. Then there's the world. It's post-apocalyptic, but not in the usual gray and dead way. There's actually color, beauty, and some hauntingly peaceful moments in between all the chaos. Exploring felt rewarding, with secret areas, upgrades, and just enough lore to keep you intrigued without overloading you with exposition dumps. And let's talk about the protagonist. She's badass, but she's also got this vulnerability that makes her more than just another cool action girl. You actually care about her journey. Stellar Blade is one of those games that makes you want to replay it just to master the combat. Nine Souls. This game is a damn masterpiece. It takes that slick Sekiro-style parry combat and mixes it with an absolutely stunning 2D cyberpunk world drenched in Eastern mythology. Every fight feels like a test of your reflexes. Nail the parry and you feel unstoppable, while if you mess it up, then you're getting wrecked. There's this insane, almost spiritual vibe to everything, like a mix of ancient traditions and futuristic tech. The hand-drawn art is next level beautiful, and the world feels like it's holding some secrets. Speaking of enemies, combat and difficulty. You gotta learn patterns, stay patient, and time everything right. It never feels cheap, just insanely rewarding when you finally take down some monstrous enemy after dying a dozen times. The enemies are no joke. There are some pretty strong bosses that will humble you quick. Therefore, you must master every skill and feature to be able to progress further. Nine Souls might feel like an easy game from its look, but it sure packs a difficulty punch. It's got that hollow despair kind of feel, but in a way that keeps you hooked. There's a deep mystery unraveling behind all the action, and it makes exploring every inch of the world feel worthwhile. Honestly, Nine Souls is not just a simple Hollow Knight type game, it's actually one of the best experiences combined with the artistic visuals or drawings. Mortal Kombat 11. This is one of the most brutal, stylish, and content-packed fighting games out there. The game is highly addicting once you get the hang of it. Every combo feels weighty, and when you land a crushing blow, you feel it both visually and through the insane sound design. The roster is stacked with classic fighters like Scorpion, Sub-Zero, and Raiden, plus newer characters that fit right in, and the fatalities are pure savagery. Some of them make you wince, but that's exactly what you want from Mortal Kombat. It never holds back. The story mode is actually one of the best in any fighting game. It's a full-blown cinematic experience with time travel madness, epic fights, and badass moments that make you want to replay it just to see certain scenes again. Kronika as a villain is solid, but it's really the character interactions that make it fun, especially seeing old and new versions of characters collide. Speaking of characters, you can tweak your fighters' moves, outfits, and gear, which adds a nice RPG-like element. Some of the grind to unlock stuff can be a bit much, but if you enjoy the gameplay, it's not a deal breaker. Bottom line is that Mortal Kombat 11 is a must-play for fighting game fans. It's brutal, fun, and has enough content to keep you hooked for hours. Plus, it's actually the best modern game in the series. I highly prefer this one instead of the newest Mortal Kombat reboot. Mafia Definitive Edition. Okay, so Mafia Definitive Edition. This game, it just grabs you. Right from the start, you're thrown into this world of gangsters and fast cars and smoky bars. It's set in the 1920s, and they've done a great job of making it feel like that era. The city, Lost Heaven, is amazing. It feels real, like a place you could actually walk around in. You're Tommy Angelo, just a regular guy who gets mixed up with the mob, and the game follows his story. And that story is what makes Mafia so good. It's not just about shooting people and doing crimes. It's about the characters, their relationships, and the choices they make. You get to know Tommy and the other gangsters, and you start to care about them even though they're doing bad things. The story has some great twists and turns, and it keeps you guessing until the end. I was really invested in what happened to these guys.
What the fuck, there, Polly? You can't just...
The missions are a lot of fun too. They're not all just the same thing. Sometimes you're robbing a bank, sometimes you're chasing someone in a car, sometimes you're just having a conversation. It keeps things interesting, and the gunfights, when they happen, are pretty intense. It just feels good to shoot the guns in this game. Mafia Definitive Edition is just a really solid single-player experience. It's got a great story, interesting characters, and fun gameplay. If you like gangster movies or games like Grand Theft Auto, you should definitely check this one out. It's a classic story told really well, and it's a game I'd recommend to anyone. Prince of Persia: Lost Crown. This is an unexpected banger. When Ubisoft first announced it, I was skeptical. I thought it would be another side-scripting Metroidvania, but damn, this game is something else. It's fast, fluid, and absolutely oozing style. Right from the start, the combat hits hard. It's got that mix of hack and splash speed with precise parries and dodges, almost like a blend of Hollow Knight and Devil May Cry. Every hit feels impactful, and the more abilities you unlock, the more satisfying it gets. Wall running, dashing, air combos. It's everything you want from a Prince of Persia game. And the time powers are not just gimmicks. They're core to combat and platforming. You're rewinding, teleporting, and pulling off insane acrobatics mid-fight. It makes every battle feel stylish and strategic. It's pure Metroidvania goodness. The map is massive, packed with hidden areas, tough as hell bosses, and upgrades that make you feel like a beast. If I am being honest, then even though Lost Crown is a completely different Prince of Persia games than the usual third person, it still has its charm. The game literally gets good as you progress. At first, it probably feels a bit boring, but the more you move further, the more awesome it gets. After several unlocks and exploring different areas, you won't feel as if you are playing a normal Metroidvania game. Low-key, the bosses are the best thing, as there's a lot of lore connected to them. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. I can tell you this one is an adventure that truly captures the essence of the iconic archaeologist. I'm sure most of us are familiar with our favorite treasure hunter, or shall I say, archaeologist. Regardless, in this game, you can fully experience how it's like to play as Dr. Jones. Great Circle nicely captures the essence of the movies. It truly makes you feel like you're right in the movie areas, such as dusty deserts, Egyptian kind of settlements, some ruins, or just some treasure-filled places. And honestly, this is one of my biggest reasons for liking the game. Even before the release, I was extremely excited to imagine how awesome it would be to play as Jones. Really wanted to feel the experience. One of the standout features is the game's emphasis on stealth. While you can engage in combat, the game often rewards a more measured approach. Sneaking past guards, donning disguises, and using Indy's iconic whip to disarm enemies or navigate the terrain adds layers of strategy and immersion. The whip isn't just for show, it's important to both combat and puzzle solving, allowing you to swing across to retrieve out-of-reach objects. Speaking of puzzles, we all know how important they are in an Indiana Jones journey, and the devs did a great job by focusing on the essence of these puzzles. They are thoughtfully designed, often requiring keen observation and a bit of archaeological intuition. Whether deciphering ancient scripts or manipulating artifacts, each challenge feels authentic to the Indiana Jones experience. The game strikes a balance between guiding the player and allowing for independent discovery, making each find feel rewarding. Whether you're a longtime indie fan or new to the series, this game offers an adventure that's both nostalgic and refreshingly new. Wolfenstein II: The New Colossus. Okay, so Wolfenstein. This one's a bit of a wild ride. It's loud, it's violent, it's over the top, and it's absolutely bonkers, but in the best possible way. It's not just a dumb shooter, although there's plenty of shooting. It's got a really interesting story, some surprisingly well-developed characters, and a whole lot of heart. You're BJ Blazkowicz, aka Terrorbilly, and you are fighting against the Nazi regime in an alternate timeline where they won World War II. And man, the Nazis in this game are evil, like cartoonishly evil. They're not just bad guys, they're monsters, and it's incredibly satisfying to mow them down. The gunplay is fantastic, it's fast, it's brutal, and it just feels good. You've got a huge arsenal of weapons, from pistols to shotguns to lasers, and you can dual wield them, which is always fun. But like I said, it's not just about the shooting. The story is surprisingly deep, it explores themes of oppression, resistance, and hope. BJ is a complex character. He's a badass soldier, but he's also vulnerable and haunted by his past. And the supporting cast is equally well developed. They're all unique, they're all interesting, and you genuinely care about what happens to them. The game is also visually stunning. The environments are detailed and atmospheric, and the character models are incredibly realistic. It's a beautiful game, even when you're blowing Nazis to bits. Wolfenstein II is a wild ride. It's loud, it's violent, it's over the top, and it's absolutely bonkers, but it's also a surprisingly deep and meaningful game. It's a game that I highly recommend to anyone who enjoys a good shooter with a great story. It's a single-player experience that you won't soon forget. Just be prepared for a lot of blood, a lot of explosions, and a whole lot of Nazis getting what they deserve. Ninja Gaiden 2 Black. If you've played this one, you know the pain and the satisfaction that comes with mastering Ryu's insane combat. Ninja Gaiden Black is basically the definitive version of the original Ninja Gaiden. Here, every encounter feels like a life or death battle. This absolute beast of a game isn't your average hack and slash where you just mash buttons and breeze through. No, this game demands precision and patience. The combat is the highlight. It's insanely satisfying when you pull off those perfectly timed counters and combos. When you master the art of slashing swords, you feel an unstoppable ninja god. But let's be real, Ninja Gaiden Black is not for the faint of heart, it doesn't care about your feelings, the enemies hit hard, and even the easiest difficulty can still kick your ass if you're not careful. But that's what makes it so good. The difficulty challenge feels fair, because even if it's more of a definitive version, we all knew about the Ninja Gaiden's difficulty, so it's still there, but it feels fair if you played other similar games, and it's still an awesome feeling when you finally kill a boss that you have been struggling with for the past few hours. Honestly, it was my dream to play a full-fledged remake of any Ninja Gaiden game. And finally I got the chance, and the best thing is that the devs actually did some fantastic work. They kept the essence and somehow even made it better. If you're someone like me who wanted to try out the Gaiden experience on modern settings, then this is the game you should play next. And even if you have already played the original, Black will still serve a gorgeous Dead Island 2. Dead Island 2 is basically the ultimate zombie mashing playground. If you've played the first one, you kinda know what to expect, but this one double downs on everything. The gore system is crazy, it's insanely good, you can literally see flesh peeling off as you hack away at zombies, it's disgusting in the best way possible. The game's setting is Los Angeles, but with zombie infestation means the zombies have already done their job in this Hollywood beauty. So, it's your job to complete missions and explore some of the most rich mansions. The game doesn't take itself too seriously, which makes it even more fun. It's got that over-the-top, goofy, but gory vibe, kind of like Zombieland. The combat is hands down the best part. You get to craft all sorts of insane weapons, electrified katanas, flame-spitting shotguns, and even Wolverine-style claws. Smacking zombies with a baseball bat and watching their bones snap in slow motion never gets old. The whole flesh system makes every hit feel meaty and impactful. Now, there's no need to talk about the storyline. I mean, it's still there, but I don't think it's necessary. Who plays Dead Island for the deep storytelling? It's all about wrecking zombies in the most ridiculous ways possible. Also, co-op is pretty fun too. Running around with friends, testing out weapons, and seeing who can come up with the most ridiculous kills is where the real fun is. Dead Island 2 is just pure, dumb fun. If you love gory zombie games with a lot of creative ways to kill stuff, it's 100% worth it. It's not Dying Light 2 in terms of movement, but it doesn't need to be. It's all about that brutal, satisfying combat. No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky is one of those games that's hard to describe in just a few words because it can be whatever you want it to be. At its core, it's a massive space exploration game where you hop between procedurally generated planets, gathering resources, and occasionally getting into trouble with space pirates or hostile alien wildlife. When I first booted it up, I remember that overwhelming feeling of standing on a random planet with nothing but a busted spaceship and a multi-tool trying to figure out what the hell I was supposed to do. It throws you into the deep end, but once you get the hang of mining, crafting, and flying between planets, it becomes this strangely addicting loop of discovery. The best part is that every planet is different. Some are beautiful with glowing blue oceans and weird alien creatures roaming around. Others are absolute nightmares, radioactive wastelands, scorching heat, or barren rocks with nothing but dust and regret. You never really know what you're gonna get when you land, and that's what makes exploring so fun. There's also a deeper side to the game with base building, space battles, trading, and even some weird existential storytelling. The game started off rough at launch, but after years of updates, it's packed with so much content that it can feel overwhelming. You can go full-on space pirate, build a giant home base on a paradise planet, or just keep warping into the unknown, seeing what crazy worlds the game throws at you. No Man's Sky is a perfect choice if you want to experience the feeling of getting lost in an infinite universe. Scarlet Nexus. Scarlet is an absolute banger if you're into stylish, fast-paced combat with an anime aesthetic. The basic plot of the game is that you actually have the opportunity to play as two characters. Basically, you have to choose one of them, but the other character's story will still collide with you as you progress further. It's one of those games where you rely on your psychic abilities combined with anime-style visuals. The abilities might sound normal, but they are so much more than that. Hurling cars, poles, and random debris at enemies with your mind while slicing through them with a katana feels insanely good. But what really makes the combat shine is the SAS system. You basically borrow powers from your squad mates, like teleportation, invisibility, or even setting your attacks on fire, which adds so much variety to fights. It's like Devil May Cry meets Anthem-style brain warfare. It's got stunning visuals, which are extremely soothing to watch during fights or even during the cutscenes. In my opinion, Scarlet Nexus is highly suitable for players who love JRPGs or anime games. It could also be a nice choice for someone who have played games similar to Immortal Phoenix Rising. I just think that for fans of third-person RPGs such as Souls game or Witcher, Scarlet Nexus might not be the right way to go. It does have its special charm and could serve as a starting point for anyone who want to get into the genre, but it's still a 50-50. However, believe me, the visuals, the cuteness, and the combat are extremely awesome. Ghostwire Tokyo? Ghostwire is one of those games that has a weirdly unique vibe. It's got this unsettling but oddly peaceful atmosphere, like a mix between a horror game and an open world adventure. And the main reason for this is how the game is structured. The environment is an exact replica of Tokyo, but the twist is that it's completely deserted of humans. Rather, there are weird ghost spirits roaming around. As a player, your job is to explore and see what's going on. Exploration is crazy because you will be checking out completely random areas just to see if an item or a clue is there. And it all feels extremely scary because at the start of the game, you don't have many strong powers. So, you mostly rely on sneaking around and saving your ass from those ghostly creatures just to get from one grocery shop to next. There are a ton of little details, haunted convenience stores with floating cat vendors, side quests based on Japanese folklore, and a general feeling that the city has its own soul. Now, let's shine some light on the combat. It's cool as hell. Instead of guns or swords, you're throwing out these like badass hand signs to fire off elemental attacks, wind blasts, fire explosions, and water slashes that feel super fluid. It almost feels like you're casting Jitsu in a first-person action game. There's also this whole vibe of exorcism when you're purging spirits, and the animation for ripping out enemy cores. The game's not super long, but it's the kind of one that pulls you in with its haunting charm. Rage 2. Rage 2 is one of those games that feels like it was made for pure chaotic fun. It's got this Mad Max style post-apocalyptic world, but instead of just surviving, you're out there absolutely wrecking everything in your path with some of the most satisfying gunplay I've ever experienced. The shooting is top tier. It's got that Doom style fast-paced feel where every weapon feels like it's designed to make you feel unstoppable. And the abilities are crazy, they turn you into a super-powered wrecking machine. Speaking of unstoppable, the open world is a bit of a mixed bag. It looks great, but it sometimes feels empty, like there's not enough happening in between the carnage. But when you do get into fights, it's pure insane. And the way you can chain together weapons, powers, and movement makes every fight feel distinct. Now let's talk about the most unnecessary part, and that is the storyline. It's there, but let's be real, nobody's playing Rage 2 for the story. You're here for the explosions, the insane powers, and the feeling of being an overpowered, pink-splattered wasteland warrior. If you're into games like Doom, Mad Max, or even Borderlands, but with way tighter shooting, Rage 2 is a good time. It's not perfect, but if you just want a game where you can go full chaos mode and have a blast, it delivers. Honestly, my suggestion is that if you have completed all the major similar games like the ones I have mentioned here, then Rage 2 is your next go-to adventure. Another crab's treasure. Ever played a lighthearted Souls game without giants and night, but the playground is an entire ocean? If not, then Crab's Treasure is what you're looking for. Players are calling this game another Souls adventure because of the similarities, and trust me, there are actually a lot of similar stuff. You can carry anything and call it a weapon, but instead of swords, here you have spoons and buckets. The difficulty is quite high, just like Sekiro and Elden Ring. You'll need to master dodging, blocking, and parrying to survive encounters with hostile sea creatures. The game brilliantly blends the punishing mechanics of Souls-like titles with a colorful aesthetic. What sets it apart is the shell system. Since the protagonist is shellless, you scavenge the ocean for discarded items to use as temporary homes and armor. Each shell, be it a soda can or a teacup, offers unique defensive stats and special abilities, adding a strategic layer to the gameplay. Speaking of game's layers, the narrative strikes a balance between humor and depth. While the characters and dialogue are often witty, there's an underlying commentary on environmental issues, particularly ocean pollution. It's a subtle yet impactful message that adds weight to your journey. One of the game's standout features is its approachability. Recognizing that Souls-like games can be daunting, it offers a range of assist options. You can adjust difficulty settings on the fly, and if a particular boss is giving you trouble, there's even an option to equip a gun that can one-shot enemies. It's a thoughtful inclusion that ensures players of all skill levels can enjoy the adventure. Before I reveal my final pick, here are some honorable mentions. Elden Ring, Baldur's Gate 3,
blesses me this day. Together, we might survive.
Devil May Cry 5, Dead Space Remake, Far Cry 3, let's talk about the story first, because it's the essence of this game. You're an adrenaline junkie who gets stuck on the island after a vacation goes horribly wrong. Your friends are kidnapped by pirates and the whole place is a war zone. There's a sense of insanity in the narrative, with Jason slowly being pulled into a darker side of himself as he tries to survive. Now this might seem simple, but believe me, it's crazily interesting to see how the character everything else changes when you progress further. The main thing that stands out about Far Cry 3 is its world. It's open world in the truest sense, and there's so much to do. You can hunt animals, take on side missions, and explore every corner of this dangerous jungle. There's always something happening, whether it's ambushing a camp of pirates or coming face to face with a pack of wild animals. The fact that the game allows you to shape your experience through the choices you make in combat, stealth, and exploration is something that really brings you into the action. But it's not just about combat, it's about survival. You're always hunting for resources, crafting items, and managing what you have in your backpack. There's a real sense of progression as you unlock new skills and you get better at surviving in this chaotic world. Alright, this finishes our list of some of the most awesome single-player adventures that you're gonna absolutely love because of how distinct each one is. Every game in this list is insanely worth your money. You can play high difficulty titles, or if you're in the mood, then blast your way through artistic titles.
Ouch! Ah!